¿Qué pasa to the pack? It is Pack here. Now, today's video, I am covering my final verdict for NBA 2K20 and whether or not it was a good game. Before I start that off though, obviously if you want to win NBA 2K21 for free, I'm doing a giveaway if you didn't already know. So if you want to win that, all you have to do is follow me on my Twitter account, and one person of all my followers randomly is going to win on August 24th, which is tomorrow. So get on that if you want to win. Also follow this channel and help me get to 300,000 subscribers. Now let's get this video started. So as some of you know, I graduated college last year with a Bachelor of Arts degree in digital communication. Now the digital part is the part I cared about in that degree, obviously doing media, videos, and even web stuff. I love that kind of stuff. It was the second part about the degree that I absolutely hated, and that was the communication part. I had to write hundreds of papers, and even though they were all different, each paper I wrote kind of had a similar bone structure to it. And I want to make a video based off of that bone structure because I feel like that's the best way to articulate what I want to explain to you guys about NBA 2K20. So there are many ways to write a paper, but this is, I think, in my opinion, the best way to do it. Step one is your intro statement, right? You basically, what is the point you're trying to get across? What is the mission statement? So this is my statement for NBA 2K21. So this is my statement for the game. NBA 2K20 was better than NBA 2K19, but because of the lack of new additions, the lack of fixing old problems, and finally the clunky and linear gameplay, it made the game one of the worst 2Ks of all time. I know it's a little harsh, but I'm not going to pull back punches in this video because I want to make sure I get my point across. So I feel like that's a good start. That's what I want to basically clarify and get out of my chest for this video. Now, what you're supposed to do is give 3 reasons that you use in your intro statement and go into detail for every single one. So the first reason I used was the lack of new additions. Let's get into that. So, yes, the biggest thing I care about is the park. It is the most played game mode in NBA 2K, and yet the most abandoned this year. What are they thinking? I know everyone complains about sports games and how they're the exact same every single year, but damn, Park always at least changed how it looked. There was at least that we could cling on to that was different from other sports games. And even that, the only good thing they had going for it, they just threw under the bus. It's completely unacceptable. They gave us the exact same Park as last year. And not only did they do that, but they lied to our faces saying that that wasn't the case. Yeah, you had the new build system, which was nice, but besides that, it was basically the exact same game. You can't get a cake, for example, change the color of the cake and go, look, a new cake. It's the same cake as the last one, you just changed the color of it. It still tastes the same, it still looks the same. All you did was change the color. You can't expect people to be like, oh wow, that's completely different, let me get it. No, it's the same thing. It's been the same game modes for the past 6 years. Play now, my team, my career, and my league. It's the lack of innovation that is crazy with this game. How has there not been a single new game mode in 6 years? This is supposed to be 2K's last game of this generation, and yet they made one of the worst games they have ever made. You were supposed to finish strong, not walk to the finish line. The second reason I gave is the lack of fixing old problems. I want you to look at the train station. This thing has existed for 3 years in 2K. And in 3 years, it has never worked. Once you go into this train station, which is supposed to put you in a brand new park, you are not allowed to play in any park game, or the game will break itself, and it doesn't even give you an error message letting you know that that's the case, right? So let me get this straight. You have an essential item in the game that has been in the game for 3 years. Every single day, people are telling you it's broken. Every single day. You have put out about 40 patches in that time, and never once did you fix it. Not once. Imagine you had a job, and in your job, your boss told you, I just need you to clean this one plate. And he told you this every single day for 1,000 days straight, and you never did it once. I mean, you would be put in a mental hospital. You wouldn't just be fired. I know this is kind of rude, But you have to actually be mentally stupid to not do that one job, right? I really don't even think I have to say anything else. If they can't even fix these little things, how are they going to be able to do the things that actually matter? I'm actually impressed on how embarrassing this is. But don't think I'm gonna pull back punches because they gave me a logo and this is my full-time job and I play this game every day. It's still almost impossible to play with your friends in your apartment. The delay online is terrible, and it's the only video game in the world with this kind of problem when it comes to delay. Call of Duty, FIFA, other sports games, no one has this problem. It's just NBA 2K. The matchmaking was better, but it's still horrible. Half the events are boring, and you can't enter Pro-Am if you're in a squad, even though they're all your teammates. Screens suck you in no matter what, and there's nothing you can do about it, etc, etc, etc. I could make 100 problems with NBA 2K20 video if I really wanted to, and I could bet that they would only have fixed 5 of those items in that list in a year. Isn't that just sad? And the third reason I have is the clunky and linear gameplay. See, I actually liked the new build system that they made this year. I actually thought it was pretty solid, but I hate how the gameplay turned out because of it. As you already know, setting screens in this game is a problem because they are very hard to defend, and if someone is just sitting in the corner and pick dodger doesn't work, it's almost impossible to stop somebody when they do that kind of offense. So most teams play this way. Or, even harder to guard, is isolation gameplay. I'm not saying that if you ISO, you're a bad player. It takes skill to be an ISO player offensively. But it is almost impossible to guard someone who ISOs. And if 2 people are sitting in the corner, their other teammates, and someone is ISOing the entire time, you're never going to miss. Because shooting is so easy this year that even if you come to help on the double team the ISO, corner shoots, green, and it becomes almost impossible to guard that. It becomes very, very difficult. So everyone does this offense, and every single game you play of 2K is exactly the same. ISO, ISO, sometimes they do screens, ISO. And that's it, every game. It's very boring for your other teammates involved because all they do is sit in a corner and do nothing all day. There needs to be an overhaul or at least a way to counter that kind of gameplay. But that's just one of the smaller problems because the clunkiness of an animation-based game is horrendous. There is no adjustments as players. So let's say you get stuck in an animation, you can't adjust like in real life. Let's say I'm going for a layup and I see a dude coming out to block me. In real life, you would try to get out of the way of the block or adjust. In the game, you're in an animation, so you just commit. And that's not how real life works. And so the game becomes too clunky. And then passing lane steals are so easy to do. It makes you not want to pass the ball anymore, which makes it even harder to score in team basketball situations. It's just ruined the gameplay completely. I won't say that there's not fun moments, but for the most part, it's pretty rough. So what I'm supposed to do is now give you my conclusion, but some essays force you to do a counterpoint, which is, okay, I said all these things, but now I need to give the other side. I need to defend the game. And I like this part of the essay because it makes you really think about what you're saying. So the counterpoint. I actually had a lot of fun this year. This is the first 2K I actually played Park as much as I did. I only played about 3,000 games in total, but still, I mean, that's more than I've ever played in Park for another 2K ever. And I had fun. I learned a lot about the game. I got better at it. I'm not great yet, but I'm doing better at it. I play with my friends. I saw them get better at it too. We just started winning games together. Pro-Am 3v3 was easily the funnest game of this year for me. And it filled that void of basketball because I haven't been able to play basketball because of the virus. So I haven't been able to go out and play, which is something I was doing 4 or 5 times a week. I haven't been able to play at all, and at least playing 2K filled that void for me a little bit, and I like that. And plus, making content for this year was fun. And then on top of all of that, I know that they're just focusing on next generation. I know that they didn't care about this game because they're just going to put all their effort into the next generation game. But here's the thing. If that game sucks too, well then all of this is for nothing. Then that just means that it's never going to be good. If they can't get the next generation game right, then I'm worried because that just means that there's no hope, right? So I give it credit where credit's due. It's fun. I have fun with the game. But there's so many problems that it makes the game terrible. And these are just some of the things. So at the end of the day, yes, it's fun sometimes, but for the most part, it's frustrating and it could be better. It could be so much better. And that's the problem with the game. And I only say this because I want the game to get better. I want it to become successful. I want people to love the game and play it more and more and more. And that's why I made this video. So at the end of the day, I thought the game was bad. I thought this game was one of the worst 2Ks of all time. Even if I felt like it was a better game than last year, you can't say that it was better than 19 because there was no innovation at all. So you have to put it as one of the worst 2Ks of all time, even though it was funner than usual. So that is my opinion. What do you guys think? Do you guys agree with me or disagree? Leave it in the comments below. And if you like this channel, give it a sub. And I'll see you guys next time.